Hello guys. Today we'll discuss one of the important concept of Oracle, that is the use of using clause in different scenarios. Like I'm going to discuss about the three scenarios where we can use the using clause in Oracle. First scenario is like we can use in join. We'll see that, and then I'll show you how we can use the using clause in execute immediate for substituting the bind variables, and here also we can use in ref cursor for the same purpose, like substituting the bind variables. We'll see for the each scenario, and let's start with the like how can use in case of join in Oracle. So for that, let me start SQL developer. So how can you use the using clause in joins? Like let me run this query. You see, if we run the query here, and if we'll give the like column alias, like let me create the alias for the tables, and I'll use the same alias over here for the employee table, like either employee number, either employee name, either salary, and either department number, and b dot dpt name or dname, and here for the same either dpt number. Okay, so if I run the query, you see, like only simple columns name are allowed here. It is telling about this using clause column name, because in the using clause we cannot give any alias name. We have to give the column name only. Okay, so if I remove this and if I run the same query again, you see again it is telling like the column part of using clause cannot have a qualifier. That means we cannot use this alias in any of the columns which you have written over here. So what you have to do, you have to remove these aliases, and note one point that we can create the alias for the two table. That doesn't have any problem because we are not using the alias we have created, and it is better we should not write it because we are not using the alias. So why we write this again? So if I run the query, you see it is working fine. It is not showing any error at all. Okay, so this is a one scenario where you can use that using clause. Using clause is basically used for joining uh, like two tables on a particular column on which you are doing the joining. So department number is the column for the employee and dpt table. So for that we have written dpt number. Okay, department number. So I'll tell you the next scenario where you can use the using clause. The next scenario is like using clause in execute immediate. For that I have written a program. I'll show you how you can use this. So let me copy this code and let me paste over here. You see, okay, before running the program, first we need to do the set server output on for make the server output on, and then we'll start the program. So for this, what I have done, I have created a variable for storing the exact SQL query, and I have created one variable which will which will store one record at a time, which will be a percentage row type, and then another variable for storing the value for the employee for which I want to bring the record, and this variable will substitute the value during the runtime. Okay, so you see, like I have defined here the hard coded the value, and that value will be automatically substituted when I use the variable vmp number. So you see, like in the VSQL, I have created, I have defined the exact query which I am going to run, and here you see like select star from EMP, where EMP number equal to, this is a bind variable which I have created. This bind variable can have any name. So I can write like this EMP num, or I can write like EMP number. That doesn't have any problem. So like this variable will be automatically substituted when we'll use this variable. So you see, like in execute immediate, we have used VSQL, that means the exact query which you have written in VSQL, that is going to be run, and it will store into the VMP record. Okay, because you see, we have hard-coded a value, a employee number. So that means at a time we'll get only one record. So when I will using VEMP number, that means I am replacing this value with the value exist in VEMP number. This value is going to be replaced over here. So when I run this execute immediate, I'll run this query and I'll substitute the value of this bind variable EMP number by the help of this variable VEMP number, and I'll store the result in the VEMP record. Okay, so and I'm going to print the value which is exist in this variable VMP record, which is a row type, which means it can store a single record at a time. So if any exception will occur, then I am going to display the exact code and the error message. So let me run this query. I have already made the server output on. So if I run this query, you see I got the output like EMP number 7369, employee name Smith, and salary is 820. So this is one of the scenario where we can use the using clause. By the using clause, we can substitute the value of a bind variable uh, in the execute immediate. So let me tell you the other scenario, the last scenario, that is the use of using clause in ref cursor. So how you can use the using clause in ref cursor? Let me tell you. Let me paste this script, and you see I have created a reference cursor type, and as you all know that if we create a reference type cursor, a type cursor, then we have to create a variable for that. So I have created another variable for the same purpose, for storing a single record at a time, and another variable, that is VMP number, for substituting the value for the employee number. And you see, as you know, we are opening the uh, ref cursor for the query, that is select star from EMP where EMP number equal to bind variable. So this bind variable will be substituted using this variable, local variable which we have created, and we have stored 7369, a value, a employee number, and this will be automatically replaced. This bind variable will be automatically replaced using this variable, the value which is exist in that variable. So you see, we have opened the cursor, then we fetch the into a variable which will store a single record at a time. Then we close, like if the cursor doesn't have any value, we can exit that, and then we are printing the values which is exist in uh, the variable in the VMP record. So then we have closed the cursor. So this is the thing we have done, and in the ref cursor we can substitute a bind variable. Okay, so that is the use which I have mentioned here. So let me clear the screen, and let me run the query. You see, when I run the query again, you see I got the same output like 7369, employee name is Smith, and salary is 820. So these are the all scenario which we can use the using clause in Oracle. The mainly three purpose, like one is join, another is